Thank you for attending today's Roofers Coffee Shop webinar. We are very happy to have you today, and we are honored to welcome Lenny Moreno and Steve Goodhand from Roofgraf. Roofgraf is a new software that has hit the roofing industry that specializes in making it very easy for you to do takeoffs, estimating, and quoting. It is an impressive system. So today, we are going to show you this new software and talk about how it can help your business. But first, a few housekeeping items. Be sure if you have questions to type them in your panel on the side under questions, and we will answer those at the end of this session. Also, you will be on mute throughout this webinar, so really be sure to use that question box. Finally, this webinar is being recorded and will be available online to view if you would like to share it with any of your teammates or other people in your company or other roofing professionals. So let's get started. It is very exciting for us to be able to talk about this new software and really talk about a special offer of 10 days unlimited aerial imagery, estimating, and quotes. Pretty cool. And so, first of all, I'd like to introduce today's presenters. One of them, Lenny Moreno. He is the founder and CEO of Roofgraf, and also Softdesk. The two companies work together. Actually, Roofgraf is part of Softdesk. So before diving into the software space, Lenny launched and bootstrapped a successful solar installation company. Seeing serious gaps in the market, Lenny founded Softdesk and set to work building the company's flagship product, Solargraf. Today, Solargraf allows over 4,500 monthly solar experts to build, share, and edit accurate and professional quotes within minutes, a task that could once take up to 6 hours. In 2018, Softdesk launched its second flagship product, Roofgraf, which we're talking about today. It is already helping roofers from across America scale and simplify their roofing business. So please join Lenny as he talks about the history of Softdesk and where he's going with Roofgraf.
So I really bootstrapped everything so I could understand what's the reality of being a contractor. And then from there, I was able to successfully complete a whole bunch of installations, but I realized that there was a lot of problems in like the software industry. There was a lot of things missing. So I decided to start Solargraf. Initially, it was for my own installation company, but I realized quickly that it's probably better to just give it to the world and have all the small to medium local businesses to benefit from this technology so that they can be organized, they can be professional, they can really accelerate their process from the moment that they get a lead all the way down to completing a job. So that was really the main focus, is really to empower the small to medium businesses, because I used to be a small to medium business. And essentially, once we've conquered the solar market with the help of one of the round of financing that we've done with Enertech Capital and BDC Capital in 2017, we now have almost 5,000 users in the solar space, and really dominating that space right now with great feedback that we're getting from contractors all across the US and Canada. So it's really by developing these relationships with local contractors that we're able to understand what's important, what's the main thing that drives them, what's the main thing that's lacking. And now what we've realized is that in the roofing space, there's also a gap. There's also a gap in terms of what's missing for these small to local contractors in order for them to be more efficient. And as generations are advancing, what we've realized is that slowly but surely, there's a lot of new roofers coming on board into the environment, and these people, they grew up with cell phones, they grew up with technology. So we want to make sure that we empower them properly with the tools in order for them to be organized, in order for them to close deals in real time, in order for them to actually measure without having to go on the roof, having them to measure even while they watch like Sunday night football. So we want to make sure that we provide that ease of use, but it's all about getting the right information from the contractor. So what we did, exactly like we did in the solar space, we've developed great relationships with roofers. And by developing great relationships with roofers, we're able to understand, okay, so what do you have right now? What's in the market right now? And what do you feel that's missing? And everything that came about was essentially the three main things that Roofgraf offers. And that ranges from creating a stylish proposal all the way down to having a bill of material automatically, having the proposal done automatically, and having the measurement process done very easily from any device, in like a rapid way where it's easy for anyone that has a phone or a tablet or a laptop in order for them to calculate their measurements properly and accurately. So I know that we have Steve with us, which is he's one of our advisors. We were able to get so much great feedback from local contractors across the country, but Steve was one of the roofers that has a really long breadth of experience in terms of not only like the installation part but the business side of things. So Steve, if you want to introduce yourself quickly and like explain how you were able to to help us.
Sure. Well, I was asked to come on board early in the development phase, and was extremely excited about the opportunity. I've run and owned my own roofing company for a little over 10 years. Prior to that, I was in the product development world, so I had a bit of an understanding on what needed to be done from a development side and what was missing for me to run my business effectively. So I was probably like you guys, working in Excel and doing a bunch of different things, having some contracts on paper, some by email, lugging around paper and files with me. And so when I got the opportunity to work with Roofgraf, I was extremely excited to see what they were doing, particularly on some of the things that I myself had really never thought about, which was just simplifying and improving the whole measurement process. I mean, as roofers, we tend to wake up knowing that we've got all these estimates to go out and do, and can tend to be kind of a mundane, tedious operation. Pulling up to the house, taking out our ladders, getting on the roof and measuring. So this whole measuring from a software thing was new to me, but was something that I was excited about, and having used it now for the last 2 to 3 months, love it in the sense that, as Lenny said, like all of us, you get a call. That call consists of a name, an address, and a number. So I used to, probably like you guys, type in the address into Google Maps and get an idea of what this house looks like. Don't do that anymore. I just type it right into to Roofgraf, and I get actually a much better, clearer image than I ever got using Google, now that Roofgraf is using near maps, which is amazing how clear the imagery is that I get. And opposed now to just looking at it, I literally start drawing on it. And some houses I could literally draw a house within minutes sometimes, and I don't only get an idea of what the house looks like or what the job's going to entail. Within a minute, I can get a full estimate, number of packs I'm gonna need, the number of rolls of membrane, number of paper, etc. So what we worked on was essentially giving the opportunity to every company to adapt and build a personal template to the work and scope that you actually do on a daily basis. And by putting in that template and then just populating that with the measurements on site, you take out a lot of tedious acts, a lot of redundancy, and get 100% accuracy every time. So that for me was exciting. And then knowing what's coming down the pipe in terms of managing the jobs and being able to schedule the jobs and stuff like that, I'm just excited about where we've come already and where this thing's going.
Steve, that is so cool. I mean, the fact how you and Lenny, with both experience within the industry, within construction, solar, and roofing, came together and really made it happen is, I don't know, that's the kind of software this industry needs. So I tell you what, I think at this point, let's see this software. Everything you're talking about is pretty exciting. So for everyone out there, and there's a lot of you, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to switch over, and Lenny's going to give us a demo. But I do want to remind everybody that there is that question box over on the right in your panel, and you can ask questions as you go. Everyone's on mute, but feel free to ask any questions as you're watching the demo, as you're looking at it, and we can answer those at the end of the webinar. And this webinar is being recorded too, so you can always come back and see it again. So I am currently, right now, we are going to send this over to Lenny, and Lenny, we're excited to see this demo. This is exciting.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Heidi. The one thing I also wanted to mention is that we had a booth at the NERCA show, which is the East Side Association for Roofers, and as well as the WRE show on the West Side for the Western Roofing Expo. And we spend that time mainly to discuss with roofers from coast to coast and understand if the same reality is happening on the East Coast and on the West Coast, then for like tiles versus shingles, or what's happening in the Midwest. We also been to the International Roofing Expo, which will also have a booth in February of next year, and we'll also be in the Midwest and Nebraska as well in a few weeks. So if ever any of you guys are there, we'll be more than happy to meet with you, and just get to know you more, receive more feedback, because our goal is really to always build our software products according to the reality of the contractors. We're contractors, you're contractors, and by understanding each other, we want to empower the space in general. So I will give you a quick breakdown of how everything works. There's no like videos that I'm going to play or anything. I'm going to do it live, so that you guys understand a little bit like what's the reality of you guys getting a lead, or what's on the menu. And I'm not going to go too much into detail since we have some time constraint, but what's cool is that you guys definitely have access to your own account manager. We provide live support Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time. Plus, you have a live chat. So we're a team of like 43 people at the office. We're not a small startup that has 5 or 6 employees and are only available whenever we're at the office. This is a real organization, a venture-backed organization, and we're here to grow your business with you guys. So first and foremost, here's how you create a new lead. So if you get a referral or like a project, what you do is that you enter the address, you pin the roof, and then you click on create proposal. And here you're going to land on a beautiful HD image. So it comes directly from our partnership that we have with Nearmap, which is included with all the subscriptions that we offer. And that's really an important point, because you have to remember that Nearmap is actually it's actually providing the measurement accuracy for the insurance industry, which is quite demanding. So that means that this 46.4 that you see right here is most likely under 3% of a margin of an error. So it's very accurate. And what's cool is that you can always edit it in real time from your phone, from your tablet, once you arrive on the premises, and you can actually measure. And the one change that you did will automatically rescale the entire roof automatically, and all your bill of material and your proposal with a single click. So that's where really the importance lies. So here, as you can see, I'm drawing like the inner lines, the outer lines, and essentially your goal is to simply draw all the lines that you see very easily by simply clicking wherever there's a line that intersects. So here, this is my last line here. So as you can see, I drew all my lines. And what's next? Then you have to name your lines. So you say, all right, these are my eaves, for example. Right here, I'm going to go with my hip. These are my hip. There's one here, one there, one here, one there. And then there's the ridge. So there's a ridge here, there's a ridge there, and then there's a valley right here. So here, that's all you got to do. Essentially, that's all you got to do. The other thing is that on the previous page, you have access to Street View. So you can actually get the slope if ever you require the slope. So let's say that, for example, the slope is a 612. You can click and you can say this is a 612, and it's 612 all across the board. So you can click on apply all, and automatically the total square feet will automatically adjust. And that's the beauty of it. It's the same thing with the length. So let's say that you go and do the actual site assessment. You can click on edit length. Let's say that you take that one measurement and finally it's like 48.5, for example. You can recalculate and it will recalibrate the entire drawing automatically. So as soon as that's done, you can click next as soon as you're happy with your drawing, and then it's going to give you the whole breakdown of materials based on your specific tailor-made template. And right now we have the material library for JAF, Certainty, Owens Corning, ICO, and Malarkey. So if you represent any of these brands, we have all of these brands in terms of the libraries that we offer. If we don't have the brands that you offer, you can enter them into your catalog and then build your template from there. So you can build whatever you want based on your cost, your pricing, your way of working, and so on and so forth. So it's always divided into 4 sections. There's the material section, there's the labor section, there's the service, and then there's the margin. So you decide how much margins that you want to make, if you want to include any services. So you can create as many templates as you want. And what's cool is that you can actually adjust any of them in real time. So you can literally just like change the price like directly here. So here, for example, I'm using the ICO template, and this, for example, is my shingles. So I have by default a 5% waste calculator. That is the default on my template. But if on your template you want it to be like 10, for example, or like 15 or anything, you can always do that. You save and it's going to recalculate the entire thing automatically with a 10% waste. In terms of the labor, that all goes into your template as well. So very easy to calculate when it comes to if you do like a per square per pitch. So you can say like when it's a 412 pitch, it's X amount of dollars per square, and so on and so forth. You can also do per crew. So there's 4 different ways that you can actually calculate your labor. And that's a beautiful thing because we got the feedback from local contractors and we've realized that the most popular is the per square per pitch. So we offer that so that it calculates automatically, but you can always adjust manually on the spot. Let's say that you're happy with the materials, the labor, the margins that you're making. Then you can add pictures in real time. So let's say that you took some pictures and you want to show the client like, hey, these shingles are cracked, So like you can say these are shingles cracking, and you can add as up to 8 pictures on the one proposal, so you can actually show directly to your client. And here you would enter like their name. So if it's like Jerry, John, you put a phone number, you put an email, you click done, and then you have a beautiful tailor-made proposal that you can present. Here it's all tailored to you with your name, your logo, your pictures. Then here you're like, okay, sir, as you can see, your shingles are cracking here. There's a leak. Now, here's the estimate and the statement of work to be completed in order to fix this and to replace your roof. And then all of these statement of work that you read here, they're all attached directly to each item that you add into your template. So once your account is tailored, then you don't have to change anything. Everything is done automatically based on the measurements that you've done for that place and the templates that you've created into your account one time. You don't need to do it over and over again. Only one time, and then your account is tailored. So the beauty of it is that right now I'm explaining it more in details, but once your account is tailored, you enter your measurements. If you want to upload some pictures, you upload them, and then automatically you have a beautiful proposal. And based on what you offer, we have all of the shingles and all of the colors based on what is the exact shingle brand that you guys offer. So your client can select it, say, all right, I want the Riviera Red, for example. They select it, they agree to your specific terms and conditions that you upload into your settings. They e-sign on the spot, and they can accept the offer. And then as soon as that's done, what's cool is that once you get back into your job details, you have a bill of material that is ready. So this is all the materials required that you can download as a PDF and submit directly to your supplier. So if ever, for example, you already have a few ridge vents in like your shed or in your warehouse, you could say, oh, I only need 6. In terms of any caulking, if ever you have some that's missing, say I need like 3 tubes of that. And then you can download the PDF. And as soon as you download the PDF, it's going to create a beautiful PDF with all your information that you can submit directly to your supplier in order to complete that job. And it's going to have the project address for the delivery if you want to deliver it there. So then you can just manage the project. So like I said earlier, if ever you get on site and then you say, oh, you know what, I want to take one measurement, like just to be sure, exactly like I did earlier, you can always adjust. So you would click on edit length. You can say, oh, finally, there's a mistake here. It was 24.5, for example. And then you recalculate. And then once you save, what happens is that it automatically readjusts all the materials required based on these new measurements. So that's how easy you can actually change an interactive proposal in real time as you're negotiating with the client. Because what happens all the time? What happens all the time is that you arrive on the premises, you start presenting your offer to the homeowner, and the homeowner will say, all right, well, I'm going to wait for this quote, or I'm going to wait for this product, or I'm going to wait. And no matter what that they want to do, what you can do is that you have an interactive proposal that you can add something in real time. So if they want a discount, you can even add a discount in real time. Everything can be added in real time in order for you to actually have the proposal ready and have them sign on the spot. So from that moment on, by the way, you can also submit the proposal. If you click on send proposal, you just enter the email address. You have your email template that you have into your settings that you can always adjust in real time or by default, and then you submit the quote. And then they receive a beautiful professional email with your signature, your email template, a link to the proposal. And every time that you make any changes, well, they have access to it, and then they can sign and send it back, or they can refresh if they want the latest version because you've done a change after you've submitted it. So from there, in a nutshell, remember, you have all these templates that we offer for all the products of Owens Corning, JF, Certainteed, ICO, Malarkey, or you can just simply create your own, and you can call it like a Steve's template, for example, or John's template. Or you can do like a good or better, best, gold, silver. So you can call them however you want, and you can build them from scratch. Remember, if the materials that you use are not in our library, you need to add them into your catalog. It's as simple as that. And then once a job is signed, then you can monitor the progress from, here's all my jobs, here are all the leads that I haven't quoted so far. Here's all the quotes in progress. Here's all the quote that has been sent. Here's all the deals that I lost, all the deals that I won, all the jobs that are scheduled, all the jobs that are completed, invoiced, and paid. And all of these statuses, they update automatically, except from the moment that it's time to schedule, because you need to actually schedule it, and then it's going to be scheduled. And then you mark it as completed, you do the invoice, and then it's paid. So at least you can have an overview of all of your jobs very easily. And remember, this is infinite users. We don't charge per seat. You can have as many users as you want so that everyone is on the same page, and you can make sure that you spend what you want to spend. So that, in a nutshell, is our is our demo. In terms of going deeper in terms of the customization and like the company settings, remember to book a demo. It's free. You want to make sure that you tailor your account with your account manager, and they're there to provide you support Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is going to help you for anything that you may need in order to be more efficient. But once you're tailored, you'll see how fast and automated this process is. You can do a quote in seconds, negotiate in seconds, e-sign in seconds, and just have more jobs in the pipeline and have a better overview of everything that you're doing on a daily. And everything I'm showing you right now is mobile friendly for your phone. You can draw from your phone, you can draw from your tablet, you can monitor everything from your phone and tablet, and it's a web application. So it's not an app that you have to download in the App Store. It's something you have access from anywhere. So that's about it.
Wow.
Yep.
Lenny, that is incredibly impressive. I mean, it's easy. How nice is that, right? It just seems like it would work great in the field as salespeople and contractors are out there selling jobs. So I would love to hear from both you and Steve. What we had talked about a little bit is using this. So now we see how easy it is to use. Well, as contractors are using it, what are we seeing with closing rates with some of the contractors that you've been working with? How is it helping? What's happening? And maybe, Steve, what have you seen?
Well, first and foremost, anyone that's seen it, any of my customers have been wowed by the technology. I mean, I often sort of let them glance at my iPad to show them, like, you saw how Lenny was drawing the imagery, and so to see that image with all the lines and the identifications and just the colors that pop, people are kind of curious, like, what am I doing? Like, where's your ladder? How come you're not getting on my roof? And so, I mean, to show them that, they really feel confident that the estimate that I'm giving them is going to be accurate, because they see the image, they see the you notice all the dimensions, even right down to the inch. So it just seems to be a lot more, even from their perspective, a lot more accurate. And another thing, I mean, you're looking here, it definitely reduces redundancy and repetitive work. I mean, we all know what it's like to get out and measure a roof, day after day. In some cases, I even, the girl that works for me in the office, she'll take some of the she takes most of the calls, and she'll even prepare half of my estimates for me, because she goes on, and if it's a simple one that she can draw, she draws it out, and then a lot of the work is done before I even get to the job. In terms of closing, my success rate has been much better with this, because of, one, the professional impression that it leaves on the customer. Two, it's very different. I mean, none of my competition has anything like this. There's still, ladders and tape measures and written hand estimates, versus mine that have, obviously precise measurements, a very attractive looking, updated estimate that I can adjust in real time, as Lenny said. And so my close rates have been great. I mean, I've closed probably where I was closing 4 and 10, I'm closing more like 6, 7, and 10 right now using this software.
Wow.
Yeah. Another thing is that once we actually sign up new clients, we always monitor closely how they're using it, and we ask them if there's anything that has improved in their day-to-day. And so far, in the short period that we have been live since September, we're getting so much great feedback in terms of the increased closing rate. We have a few testimonials that we've received recently that they're closing, like, if they have quoted 5 jobs, they close 3 or 4, and before that it was a lower closing rate. So the amount of money that they're spending using Roofgraf versus not using it is the cost of opportunity to not have that extra 1, 2, or 5 jobs at the end of the month.
And for me, it's not just the money; it's the time. Like, I'm not doing the redundant, measuring. It's actually, I was telling someone the other day, it's actually making it a little more fun, which is probably don't hear every day, but it's a lot more fun. You just sit back on the iPad, draw it out. and you press that next button, and within seconds I know exactly what I need to order, what the cost is. I can fiddle around with my margins to make sure that I'm happy with what I'm getting, make a price point that makes sense for the customer. It's fun. The reality is it's a lot of fun to work with.
That, you know what, and it sounds like I love that point about actually, if you haven't already done it at the office, of sitting in front of the homeowner and showing them what you're doing, because it's just such a differentiator for your business, and to show that you understand technology and the accuracy in what you're doing. I just think that's a great way to help close those sales. But you also, as you were just talking about, it's fun, and it also is you can do more every month because you have the software and you have the accuracy of all the calculations and the templates. So maybe, Steve, talk just a little bit more about that. How can it reduce the time you spend on quoting, and how can it help you, productivity and just the amount of visits and home visits you can make every month?
Well, the one thing that, and Lenny focused on it really all comes down to the custom templates, and this is where my involvement with the team probably had the largest impact in that we've tried to provide each and every individual roofing contractor with an opportunity to build a template that suits his working process. Lenny mentioned that he's got them set up right now by brand. And within the brand, sometimes there's multiple shingles. For example, like in the ICO, there's the Marathon 3-tab shingle, and then there's the Cambridge. There's a Dynasty, and so to Lenny's point, we tend to do it as a good, better, best process, where you have the basic shingle, the mid price, and then the Dynasty being the top end. We also do a version where on homes where you need more membrane or just a little more preparation for a complex home. I'm in Montreal, so our winters get quite nasty. And so on some older homes, we have a little more ice buildup due to poor ventilation or insulation. And so we have a winter version actually, which is for homes that really have a hard time. We do higher end membrane. We use a Grace Elastomeric Pro membrane, and so that instantly, in the past, someone would tell me, what's it cost for, and I'd have to recalculate and add membrane. Here I can just populate the better template, if you would, and again it spits out all my numbers. So not only is it accurate 100% of the time, but I could literally provide different estimates based on different templates and different materials, and give the consumer an idea of what things are going to cost depending on what they choose. We've said this a few times. Definitely reduces tedious, redundant work. Of course, it reduces human error. I mean, when you're trying to do an estimate with a calculator and the phone's ringing, or you're receiving a text, and there's just so much going on. You're on a job. You tend to make errors. I mean, you can't do that here. I mean, you put in the measurements. It obviously populates the measurements. There's no opportunity to make an error, which I found fantastic. And then, of course, the opportunity to e-sign it and manage it back and forth. Customer to choose colors, they can send it back. You sign off. If they say, "Can I see the version with the whatever membrane?" You make the change to send it back, all in real time. I mean, it saves a ton of time, reduces errors, and again, I go back to it's a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah, and you know what? I loved, again, I'm going to go back to that one point you made earlier about you can actually, as the calls are coming into the main office and your team in the office is qualifying, they can actually be working on this and doing all the measurements and having this ready for you when you get there.
Heidi, like I said, yeah, often, I mean, as a roofer, you get a call. The first thing you do is you go, I got the address, you punch that into Google Maps, and you go, oh, that's what the house looks like. That's going to be an easy one. That's going to be a tough one. Now I put it in Roofgraf. I literally say, you know what? I'm going to take the minute and a half to draw it out. And now not only do I know what it looks like, I know what it's going to cost, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
That's great. Well, and then Lenny, you did such an amazing job with that demo, talking about the accuracy. But let's just, Steve, maybe coming from your world of being a roofing contractor and just overall, everybody always questions, is it really accurate? Tell us, just kind of go over that one more time for us.
Well, at the end of the day, my options are: I measure with a tape measure, I measure with a rolling wheel, And at the end, if you're down on the ground measuring with a rolling wheel, I mean, whether I'm 38 across the front of the house or I'm 39, typically you start to get used to, houses are usually even numbers. So you go with 38 as opposed to 38.4 or whatever it may be. So, I mean, there's nothing even measuring it out on the job that's 100% accurate. So where I find with this is same idea. Lenny was showing you at 28.3, 28.4. In the big scheme of things, whether it's a couple of inches longer or shorter, it's not going to change how many packs you need. You're talking inches, and the same with whether you're measuring the rakes or whatever it may be. And the cool thing, as he showed you, was you could make that adjustment anyway. So what I typically do is I'll do it before I get to the job. I'll take my rolling wheel, measure the one measurement across the front of the house. On the actual software, it may say 38.6. I may get something like 38 or somewhere in between 38 and 39. I'm good with 38.6 because it doesn't change anything in the big long scheme of things. What it does ensure me though is there's no human error, because this thing's not going to make a mistake of feet. It might make a scaling adjustment of inches. Inches isn't going to change anything in the big scheme of things. I love the fact that it rescales the entire quote when I do that adjustment, and it updates my BOM, and it provides me 100% accuracy every time.
Yeah, the one point that I would like to add is that we actually vetted real life people measuring roofs in different states, and we've compared with our measuring tool prior to going live so that we could make sure that this is actually accurate, because on the solar side you don't have to be as accurate because it's not shingles, it's solar panels, so that you can actually have one or less panel that you're off. But on the roofing side, it's definitely something that you want to make sure that accuracy is important. So we really went and we vetted from various states, various people, various locations and houses and pools and lands to really see is this really accurate? And honestly, the results were phenomenal, and it's probably the only reason why we decided to go live is because we said we're not going to go in this game if we're not accurate. And if you're using things like Bing or Google, the problem is that you might see the house, but you may not see an updated version of the imagery. And what's cool with Nearmap as well as Geomni is that they actually fly pretty often. So all of the results that we get is actually very recent. There's even I've even surprised a roofer once because he gave me an address and then we land on his house and he's like, wow, I just installed these solar panels 15 days ago, and you have the updated version. So that means that Nearmap and Geomni, they're actually off. They're flying quite often, so they have really recent images. And as technology keeps growing, while the technology of the scanners as well, they get more and more accurate. So the HD imagery is actually only going to get better with time on Roofgraf. So we're very confident in terms of the accuracy of the measurements.
Well, when I started using it, Heidi, just as well, I would do both. Obviously, I would do it off site, and then I would take the measurements with my measuring tool on site, and the difference was really not anything to worry about in terms of accuracy. Very, very close. I mean, it's as accurate as you're going to get.
Well, and it's so great too because as everyone knows, we also have Nearmap on the coffee shop, and we love Nearmap, and their aerial imagery is so amazing on such high resolution. And so to know that that's a part of Roofgraf and how well that works together, that's that gives you a lot of confidence in the accuracy right there too. That I love that. I love that. I know that's always really important. And there are a couple things that both of you have been talking about that really ring a bell, that having worked with roofing contractors so long, both Vicki and I, we kind of, get excited about certain things. And that auto adjust is really, that's a game changer. Being able to really adjust that proposal, adjust the measurements, looking at things as you're going through the proposal and working with the homeowner. You just don't get that from a printed report. That is real life. Maybe talk about that and some of the other things that differentiate you, Lenny.
Yeah, no, I think that's very important, because what happens is that if you order a report, which is an important space of like the roofing ecosystem, it's very professional. It looks great. The one thing that is important is that you're ordering it. So when you're ordering it, if ever there was an error, or if ever there's something that's not accurate, then you have to send it back for revision, so that you cannot receive the results in real time. You cannot do the results in real time. And in any case, once you get a report, then you still have to manually adjust it. In terms of what you guys offer, what's your service, what's your material, what's your price, and so on and so forth. So that's where I think that the auto adjust is definitely important, and it's something that we know that the competition is not it's not really focused on. In terms of what makes us different, I mean, there's not really that many players that are out there that are providing these key elements. There are some that only offers like designs on an iPad, which is going to be on like poor quality imagery. The other thing is offering that infinite users. How can a small to medium contracting business scale properly if everyone is not on the same page? And we believe that it's a model that worked well on the solar space, which we've offered on all of our packages to have infinite users, so that everyone has their own logins. Everyone can actually have access to each project, be able to say, all right, now John, for example, he will get tagged in order to do something or add pictures or go on the site, but at least everyone is on the same page. That's another thing that I believe is super important. The other thing is that HD imagery that we don't charge for, we included in our packages. So that means that you don't have to pay extra if you want to have access to HD imagery. We know that in the space, and it's the same in the solar space, people charge for that. So you have your basic price for your package per user when it comes to the competition. And then if you want to have access to HD imagery instead of Google or Bing, then you have to pay extra. So that's something that we know from the local roofers that we spoke to, it's not something that they like, because then they have to pay extra and they're not even sure if that's going to be working fine for them. So we include that just as a basic thing. And I think it's one of the things that our roofers really, really loved. And I would say that probably the most important thing, if I remove the price, which I'm going to talk about after, that really people like, is how friendly we are. It's such an easy software. And I think that when you run your own business, and I know that Steve is running his own roofing company. I used to run my own solar company. We have a lot of things to do as business owners. And when you're a business owner, only then you can understand the level of responsibilities that you have to schedule everything, to make sure that you deal with the suppliers, make sure that you close, make sure that you schedule your team. You don't need more complications in terms of software or dealing with Excel sheets or multiple softwares in order to get organized. You just want one single page application that everyone can be on, and it's user friendly in terms of your mobile. You can draw from your phone, and you can simply manage your projects very easily like that. And as you saw from the demo, and you'll see by just using it yourself, how easy this application is. And this is where really we believe we shine, and we've shined and now dominate the solar space. We believe the same is about to happen with the traction that we're getting from the roofing space, as we get hundreds and hundreds of new contractors signing up every day. So that's one of the things. And maybe I can talk about the price. I don't know. Did you do a slide about the price?
Before you go to there, because we do want to talk pricing, that is so important. But what I would love to hear, just real quick, is we're really talking about 10 days of unlimited projects. I think that's pretty cool to be able to really have your team figure out to use it, to look at it, to work through it for 10 days. That's a lot of quoting you can do in 10 days. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think that it's enough quoting so that you can see that the product works, that your account will be tailored, our support team will be present and available, so that you don't have any problems scaling this and getting used to this. In terms of training, it's so easy. There's some help videos. There's your account manager that's there. You have your own coach that will call you periodically to make sure that everything's on point. If you have anything new in terms of your pricing of your product, we want to make sure that we build this with you. So I suggest that if you haven't used it, log in. You have 10 days, unlimited projects, and we're talking about HD projects. So you have access to the imagery. You can really test it out. You can test the bill of materials. You can see how it is when you adjust something in real time, how it updates your quote, how you can tailor-made your statement of work for each item, so that when you present the quote to the homeowners, how like professional this looks when you have that, and then the person that you're competing against arrive with like a piece of paper and a pad and a pen, and they have to like initialize changes if ever there's anything, and then like it just ends up not looking like a corporation. So what we've done in the solar world is that we've helped small to medium guys to really beat the big corporations, so that they look professional, but easily and quickly. And it's the same thing that we started to do in the roofing, and we've seen some tremendous results. So we're very, very excited about that. So yeah, you can use the 10 days. If you look here, one of our users from Exterior Vision from New Jersey, he did 3 quotes with his unlimited projects of 10 days. He closed 2 deals, just in terms of how professional it looks. So that's an example right there that you can actually contact. You can actually contact that person and like see how it actually worked for him.
And I really like it too, Lenny, because there's no commitment, right? You just want them to see how great this is, and that's it's kind of hard when you're like, okay, we'll do 10 days, but then you have to do this. There's none of that going on. It's just try it out and see what happens.
Yeah, there's there's no hidden fees or like add-ons or anything. I know that one of our differentiators as well is that we offer access to all of the features in all the packages, and there's no like add-ons if you want to do XYZ on top of it, or any setup fees. So that's really an important thing that I know has helped to drive a lot of roofers towards Roofgraf.
And so then once they try it for 10 days, we know they're going to love it. And then so this is always important as we're budgeting. What's the price? How does it work?
Yeah. So essentially, since we don't charge per user, we charge per project. So what we do is that if you don't want to commit never, and like you do like, I don't know, 2-3 jobs or 2-3 proposals a month, go with the pay as you go. And it's $10 for each address that you do. And at $10, you have access to all the features for, your template, negotiating, proposals, bill of materials, HD imagery, and so on. So it's as simple as that. That's if you want no commitment. But I would say probably 85 to close to 90% of our clients so far that have signed up, they all went with the gold or platinum because it's a no-brainer. Because most people, they will do more than like 10, 15, 20 proposals a month, and it actually comes down to much cheaper. Because if you go with like the gold package, then it's $99 a month. You have infinite amount of users, and then you can go up to 15 projects that you can do. And then if you go over, then it's $7 per extra. So if you know that you're doing a lot, you can actually go with the platinum, $199, infinite users, and you can do up to 50 projects every single month. And if you do a lot more, which we do have we do have a percentage of our clients that are actually doing a lot more proposals than that. We have an enterprise package that we don't mention based on the actual usage, and we offer unlimited projects, unlimited users, and it's actually pretty cheap. So in any case, we're by far the most affordable software that is available on the market, and it's really based on your usage. So if you know that you're not gonna be using it like a lot because you do 2-3 proposals, go with the pay as you go. I mean, how much does it cost? What is your cost of opportunity to not use Roofgraf and close more deals? I mean, if each deal, pockets you like $3,000 of margin in your pocket, as like a rough number, we'll say, then what is your cost of opportunity to not use it to increase your closing rate? And yeah, so that's essentially how it works. And you can always upgrade and downgrade however you want.
Perfect. And so that's excellent. So let's talk real quick. I really love the fact that you and your team were like, we want to make sure we're giving them taking care of everybody who's on this webinar. Talk to us about what next. What do folks do next?
Yeah. So essentially, at the end of the webinar, you're going to receive an email to register if you don't already have an account. If you already have an account, you'll still receive an email to give you the next steps in terms of how to tailor your account, how to book a demo with us, or how to book a session to make sure that we tailor your account to your specific pricing needs, materials, process, labor rates, etc. But once that actual customization is completed, you're good to go. And then you can just add as many users. All you do is you add their names and their emails, and then they have access to your specific company, and you can start getting organized and have people accountable for what's happening into your company. So in terms of the people that have listened to this webinar, we have a great promotion where if you prepay for 12 months, we're going to give you a 15% off, as well as we're going to be able to also give you this access to that HD imagery. The HD imagery is included in all the packages, but what happens is that over time, based on the usage and all the data that we will be aggregating, it's not something that's 100% for sure. But what happens is that if you lock yourself for 12 months, not only you're going to lock yourself for 1 year of included HD imagery, you're going to pay less, and you're going to be locked into our launch price. And our launch price is exactly what you saw. As you can see and as you can tell, we're much cheaper than any other software out there. So if you lock yourself in for 12 months, then you just saved a lot of money. So that's essentially our offer. You're going to receive an email, and you're going to have the links in there and all the information if you want to move forward to the next step. And we're here to support you, and we're here to also get your feedback so that we can make your life easier, you can get organized, and you can move to the next level.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'd like to open this up to questions because we have some great questions coming in. First of all, I'd like to just say thank you to you and Steve and that great group there. I love this picture. That's awesome of your team. So, okay, one of the questions that just came in was how long is the 15% good for, and how long is the 10-day offer of unlimited projects good for? How soon should we got to get people moving?
Yeah, well, for the unlimited projects for the 10 days is if you haven't created an account and you do, then we're going to be able to make it happen to anyone who actually gets started. There's no like end date for that. We're very open and we're confident about our product, so we don't need to apply a massive amount of pressure. For the offer that we're doing in terms of our launch price, it's something that will be adjusted pretty quickly because some of the feedback that we got so far is that we're way, way, way under market. And for what we're offering and for what we're including, we're way under market. So we suggest to all of the clients that we speak to make sure that they actually lock themselves in, because I don't have a date yet, but I know it's going to be pretty soon that the pricing will change. So if you lock yourself in, I will tell you, as the CEO and founder, you will be saving probably thousands of dollars by locking yourself in. So that's my advice. But we always have the package that has no commitment, so you can always use that one. But you'll see that as soon as you start to use it and your account is tailored, you're going to use that all the time, and it's going to be a no-brainer for you to go on a 12 months. So in terms of the offer, I suggest that, why wait for a good thing? Why wait to close more deals? Why wait to look more professional? Why wait to make your business look like 1,000 times better? Not that it doesn't look good now, but from all the data that we've aggregated, our product will make your company a lot more efficient and make more money in your pocket.
That's perfect. That's great, Lenny. That's so cool. Well, I do have another question that just came through, and I want to remind everybody we have the chat box over on the right. If you have questions, type them in. I'm asking them as they're coming in. So one of them was, people are wondering that, looking at that manufacturer's catalogs and that you have a number already in there, are you going to be adding additional manufacturers into that for those catalogs?
Absolutely. Right now we have like the 5, I would say, like the most popular, but we're adding more libraries, more pictures of products, more materials from specific suppliers. We're discussing with specific suppliers right now in order to have everything automated as well. So as we're growing, like I said, we're a venture-backed company with good resources and a strong development team. So what we do is that we prioritize what our clients want, and then we release. And this is what we've done on the solar side successfully, and that we will replicate in the roofing.
Perfect. Awesome. And so tell us just real quick, I know we're getting to the end of our hour, but just let us know real quick, what are some of the features that are coming up? I've got some people asking about that.
Yeah, we have a lot of features coming out in terms of like invoicing and more like project management tools, live activities, a lot more customization options, a new user interface that will be unbelievably slick and very stylish, very easy to use from any device. It's coming out in around a month and a few weeks. And we have a lot of other things in the pipeline that you guys will definitely hear about, that will be changing the game.
That's perfect. And I know you mentioned Zoom functions earlier too, so there's a lot of really cool stuff. So we're at our end, but just really quick, one more time, please let people know. I know they're going to get this email from you, but if they can't wait, tell them where to go and what to do. How do they sign up?
Yeah. So you can simply go on roofgraf.com and you can click on free trial, or you can simply log in if you already have a login. And you can always reach out to us if you want to book a demo or like tailor your account or move forward to the next step. We'll be more than happy to support you. Remember, the cost of not using this is the cost of you having less deals closed, and it's the cost of just having someone else that will be using it and be able to close the deal like faster and more efficiently. So we want to standardize this in a way that everyone has their account tailored to their own style, their own process, but at least you're now in the next league. So we're definitely here to help you, and we thank you so much. If there's anyone listening that has helped us so far with some feedback, we thank you so much for your business, and we want to keep building this with you. So have a wonderful rest of the day, and I hope to meet you in Nebraska or in Nashville in the next 2 shows.
Perfect. Lenny, Steve, thank you so much. And we also had Sarah behind the scenes to bring all this to our audience, our coffee shop folks. So we really appreciate all of you, and thank you for sharing this great new technology that is really going to help professionalism and just overall profitability and success for our roofing contractors. So It was a great webinar. Again, thank you very much. I would remind everyone that this has been recorded and it will be up on the Roofers Coffee Shop on the webinar page, where not only can you see this on demand, but you can see all of our past webinars too. And I have to tell you, we are constantly working on bringing new technologies, new solutions. How do we really help all of you with your businesses? And that's all on the webinar page at rooferscoffeeshop.com. So please go there and visit it. And like I said, this one will be up within the next 24 hours. Our next webinar will be October 17th, 2 weeks from today, same time, 11 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Eastern, and it's going to be with a new company that's on the coffee shop, so watch for them, and that is Stack. And Stack is bringing new construction estimating and really some different things on uploading plans for you to use in your estimating process. So really a totally different type of take for different needs in the business, and we're excited to welcome them to the coffee shop and talk to them on the 17th. Finally, be sure to go on to the coffee shop and see Roofgraf and Nearmap and all of our partners who really bring important information to you every day. Thank you so much for attending, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.